everyone, this is Mr. Airsoft. In today's video, I'll be giving you guys an update on the upgrades I've been doing to this JG VZ61 Scorpion. And just to start off, as I mentioned in the first video I made of this gun, I was having safety and selector switch issues when I first bought it, when I first got it. And basically, when I first got the gun, when it first came in the mail, the first thing that I wanted to do was just to see if it worked out of the box, so I looked real like it was brand new, basically, like someone had not touched it before. So what I did was I charged up the stock battery that came with it, and I plugged that in, and that went in the handguard, well, the pistol grip right here, and I put that in. Didn't do anything, so I was like, okay, I gotta take this apart and figure out what's going on. So I did that. I originally took apart the gearbox to see if it was any mechanical issues, and that was not the problem. Everything looked fine in there. And I started messing with the safety, the selector switch and everything that is housed right in here. And what I found was that the selector switch was squeezing the trigger mechanism, which the trigger mechanism is very inefficient. I really despise the entire trigger mechanism of this gun. This gun will forever have a curse, as you could say, of just a bad trigger. It will sometimes double shoot for the rest of its life because of the trigger mechanism. But basically, the selector was pressing on the trigger and it wouldn't fire all the time, and that was the simple truth. It was just, I had to take it out. I had to take the whole system out because it was just getting in the way. So once I got that working, I was like, okay, I got this working. But the battery, and that's when you guys saw the video that I made, the battery was awful. It was shooting terribly. So after that, I decided that my next thing I wanted to do would be to replace the battery and put in a little Mosfet to, so it would be more efficient. So what I did was I ordered a Perrin Mosfet, and it's just this tiny little one. Like, it's probably, literally like half an inch, if that. It's very small. It's attached to a Dean's connector, and you can get a pre-wired version or like one that you wire yourself. I didn't want to do the wiring myself because I didn't want to mess anything up. It's so small. So I just got the pre-wired version, and I'll see if I can show you guys that. It's really in here good. It's smaller than the car fuse that's in here. When I say car fuse, I mean like the ones you put in like automobiles and everything. But focus this in. So right there, that little clear, yeah, that's just the Mosfet right there. That's all it is. And there's a fuse farther down. I'm sure you guys cannot see that at all, but it's just a green car fuse. I think it's a 30 amp fuse or something like that. So I wired that in. That was pretty easy. It's kind of like wiring in a Mosfet or soldering on the to regular V2 or V3 trigger contacts. It's just a little bit different, but the contacts aren't that weird. So I did that, and I got a tiny little LiPo battery, and I'm just gonna grab that. So this is the battery that I got right here. It fits in there nice and snug. It is a Turnigy 11. It's not 11.1 volt. It's a 7.4 volt, 70 to 90 C discharge. So it actually's got a pretty nice discharge rate for 7.4 volt. But the downside to it, of course, is that it has a very low capacity, only 300 mAh. So this thing does not last very long, which I've been using my voltage tester several times when I've been testing this gun out once I wired it up to like gauge how many shots I can get off before I need to stop shooting so I don't kill this battery, because I already killed one of these, and I'll get into that in a second. But it's gonna last at least a meg or two, so I don't have to worry about that. So when I first ordered this battery, when I was waiting for it to come in the mail, I started to tune up the gearbox and shim it and grease and all that. And when I did that, I kind of made a mistake. And actually, if I take this apart here, take just the upper receiver off. pin out. Okay, so what I messed up on was this spring. There's a spring right here, and if I focus in the camera, there's a spring right here. Might be hard to tell, but that is the nozzle spring. So that's what pushes the nozzle forward when you're firing the gun. It's basically the tappet spring, the equivalent of the tappet spring in a V2 or V3 gearbox. And the actual spring that was in there was really long. It was extremely difficult to put back in because it would get magnetized to the motor. It just wouldn't want to go in very well. So what I did, I had the genius idea of cutting the spring in half, and I got one to the exact right size that it would fit, and that probably would not be strong enough for one thing to push the nozzle back all the way. But I lost that piece anyways, so boom, that my fix is already ruined. So I had to basically go with the shorter one, and that one cannot push the nozzle all the way forward, which is a new problem that I have. Basically, since it doesn't push all the way forward all the time, that basically lets more BBs than one, to go into the hop-up. So it's triple feeding sometimes, which is a big problem. So if I don't find that piece that I lost that I cut, then I'm going to have to buy a new one, which really sucks. Don't ever do something stupid like that. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, but that's a big problem I'm going to have to fix, and that's really the only problem I'm having right now. I got everything to be working fine, but what I originally messed up on, after I had got the Mosfet started and everything, this, you can't really see it very well, but this silver thing right here, that's the motor, and I'm not going to try to take this gearbox out right now because it's really annoying, but I'll actually grab the other motor for reference. Okay, so here's the other motor. Basically, this is for reference. These are the two tabs that the wires go onto, and the stock one, I broke both the tabs off because they were already really weak. So that was a big issue. I thought I couldn't use the motor anymore, so I ordered this new one off eBay. These are RC motors, so it's really easy to find replacements for them. So the only problem is that this is a longer shaft than usual, so I had to find one with a longer shaft on eBay. Thankfully, there were some that were from China. It took a long time for them to get here, probably just customs and all that, but finally got here, and I was like, okay, this is gonna work now. So this is 31,000 RPMs, so I thought this thing was gonna make it so speedy and everything, but what I didn't realize was that the magnets were bad. They're inferior compared to the magnets in this motor. So I put this one in there, and it was working fine at first. It sounded great, but it was draining my battery really fast. I was like, okay, it wasn't doing this with the other motor. So I just kept shooting it, which was a really dumb idea for one thing, but it just sounded worse and worse and worse, and then eventually just stopped. And then I took the battery out because I thought I killed the battery, and I tested on the voltage and voltmeter, and it was really low. It was below 7.4, and it was going off, so I was like, okay, I broke this battery, I gotta get a new one. First I thought it was a battery. I decided to take a look at the motor, and when I popped the top off, I saw that, I'll actually zoom this in again. Basically, this brush right here was just disintegrated, and if you don't know how motors work, basically, and you can see, yeah, there's two, like, brownish I don't even know what you call like rectangles that are connected to these golden like wires, and those are called brushes, and they contact this. Actually, yeah, I should put this up here. Yeah, they contact the comm right here, and that basically that sends the electricity down to the magnets and the wires, and that's what powers the motor, and that's what spins it. Those are called brush motors. There's also brushless motors. Those are a lot better than brush motors because brushes wear out after a while. But as you saw, I completely destroyed this one because these magnets are not good. The worse the magnets are, um, the harder the motor has to turn and more power it has to draw in order to complete a cycle in a gearbox. So since these magnets are so awful, and since it was so fast, then it was drawing a lot more power to complete a cycle in the gearbox. So that's why I killed that battery so quickly when this one is not, because this one's a lot torqueier than this one is. So it kind of sucks, but thankfully I was able to push the tabs. Like the tabs go into here and they just go right in into the top. And I was able to take a hammer and I hammer these tabs out a little bit more so there's a bit sticking out. I just soldered the wires right on. So it's working. This motor's working fine again. I got that working. It's all working fine now. So it's not a big issue. But basically that's where I'm at right now. It's the gearbox is tuned to the best it can. It's very difficult to shim AEP gearboxes, as I found out. But it's tuned the best it can right now. The battery is shooting stable. It's not like going down super fast. It's not draining super fast. It's shooting pretty stable now. And I've tried to fix the double shot that occurs every once in a while, but I wasn't able to do it. It's just gonna double shoot every like 10 shots or something like that, and if I hold the trigger down for too long, it'll shoot in full auto, which is really sucks, but that's just the problem that they have with their selector system. I've tried to fix it, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So the next thing I'm gonna have to figure out is fixing that spring, and this gun should hopefully be shooting normal. Usually they don't shoot that high FPS. With these AEPs, it's usually around 250. So that'll be fine with me at this point. I just want to get this thing working because it's never worked to its fullest potential from the start. Just trying to get this back together so I can shoot it a couple times for you guys to see. It's a pretty basic Mosfet too. There's no really programming you can do to it. Really, the only thing it does is protect your trigger contacts. But battery's plugged in. I'm actually gonna grab my voltage meter just to make sure. You always put your finger over the top of these because they're really loud. Plug this in wrong. There we go. Okay, so battery, I just charged this at 8.36 volts. There's a double shot as you saw. So if you you have to find the perfect time to release the trigger so it doesn't double shoot. If you hold it in for too long, you can shoot it full auto. So you gotta find the right time to pull the trigger and release it. But yeah, so the battery shoots pretty stable, as I said. And I got the stock motor working. I just need to fix the tappet spring, and then it should be fine. The reason I know that it's not feeding is because I just tested it out tonight. I put some BBs in there, and like I said, it would not feed, and then it would triple feed. So it's definitely the tappet that's messing everything up right now. So once I figure out how to fix that spring or replace it, then it'll all be good. But it'll always have the double shot curse with it for the rest of its life, but that's just the problem you gotta deal with. But yeah, other than that, that should do it for this video. I've been wanting to do the G&G breakdown video, the SG550 breakdown video pretty soon. I finally finished the gun. It's all done now. There's nothing that's left to do with it. So hopefully when I find the time I'll get that video out, but this is just what I've been doing for now. I've been trying to figure out how to fix this gun. But yeah, that should do it for this video. Thanks for watching.